Hi there, let us wrap up this course material. So the last piece of the text material is the HAL Changemaker step work map, and it's put there for your convenience, where you kind of could see an overview if you go clockwise, with point 1, the idea, 2, the goal with what you're doing, 3, the research, 4, the SWOT, that is the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats, the test, the go for it, and then the project in the middle. So in many ways, there is not much more to add other than wrap this up as the HAL Changemaker. So what do I want to say here in the last podcast on the HAL Changemaker material and the HAL Changemaker Toolkit Course 2, where we have worked our way through the different steps of what it means to be a change maker, playing on the pun of both being actual change makers, as in what we call social entrepreneurs, but also as people and the new type of humans, if we may put it so, that are ready to work with reality in a different way. And that's the interesting part of this one, because what does it really mean to work with reality in a different way? What can we do? What should we do? What is possible? And what should we aim for? And how far should we aim? As in, how high should we set the bar of what we want to achieve? And what is it said? Only the sky is the limit, right? So with that, we also understand there are many opportunities, there are many challenges, but there are also many lessons to be learned and many processes to be mastered when we talk about being a change maker. The entire material, when I began doing it in the mid 2022, I think it was, and worked my way through the different steps and the hoops and the loops of what we were to achieve and could achieve, it has been a journey where the work has been focused on, or the material has been focused on the work, on how to change reality. And the question is, can we change reality? And another one is, should we change reality? And for what purpose, and with what means, and to what end, as it's usually said. So it's not that here in the final podcast that I'm going to come up with some grand ideas other than what I've already kind of put out there, as well as in the free material, as well as on the HAL Academy material altogether, the podcast on YouTube, the overview of the HAL Academy as I began it in 2017. And have created the material that has brought us so far. And we are getting ready for the 2025 timeline. And I would say for now, here in 2023, in the beginning of 2023, that for now, the Changemaker material and the Changemaker properties and possibilities and probabilities are probably 5 years ahead of its time. So for those of you who are done the material now and the course material now, and you're thinking, how can I apply this to my everyday life? Just keep in mind, it's a training process of how to adapt and how to change and how to learn to navigate in this reality that we now call our world, with all of its ups and downs and all the new that is going to come, because in many ways we have barely scratched the surface of what's coming our way. We kind of have indicators and we have the ideas. We have got the climate chaos. We have got financial chaos. We have got everyday living chaos. We have got different issues with the world that's dividing. We have got people that are segregating themselves into different groups. So we could say there are two ways this could go. Either it gets worse or it levels out, and then something else will come. And of course, I hope for the latter, that it will level out. New choices will be made. Solutions will be found. And we will then end up having this kind of understanding that, yes, the world is a challenging place. Life is challenging. It has always been challenging. No matter whenever we talk about being human inside this reality in the Truman Show, and we as a race and as a species have had many different ideas of why it was that challenging, from the ideas of gods into sciences, into psychology, into whatever we are coming up with as an attempt to try and explain why reality is difficult and why life is challenging as we are trying to navigate through it. And it does not make it less challenging if we then also take on to ourselves not just to have a paid job, but actually go out and create our own small business or start up a project or an NGO or some non-payment kind of project or pro-payment project where we go in and say, well, what we're doing here is something entirely new. We are pioneers within a field of different approaches to what it means to be human. And I want to put in here that years ago in 2007, when I began my little practice as a healer, as a psychotherapist, that was under the umbrella of spiritual teaching systems. So the ones that came to me were, interesting enough, already back then, most of were business people or what we call higher level up in the hierarchy business people coming my way for clairvoyant psychotherapy, including healing. And then it was kind of, this is the spiritual reality approach that they came with, because there are quite a lot of people that are spiritual, even though they are in the big business or corporate business world, trying to find other ways to navigate through reality and through life. And in the beginning of the 2000s, it was that's kind of where we had this whole awakening going on under the stellar activation cycle. And yet it was this kind of, a secret kind of coming to me and doing healing work. That was the person that came, and it was not put into the workplace as this is where we could do it. But the Changemaker material is an attempt to try and get it into the workplace. Because if we are going to change the world, really, when we talk big business and the corporate world, well, we must have people that are honestly stepping forward. There are more and more coming that way that are stepping forward and saying, well, there is more to life than just the materialistic realm and the profit ideas and driving business for profit alone. And we're seeing that within the new group of people that are coming up with new business models, that are coming up with new ideas of how can we drive business, as well as looking into saying, okay, we also have this aspect of reality that years ago we could just do whatever we wanted to do, but now we suddenly have limitations such as resource allocation, natural resources that are not just available as we used to. There might be different types of lockdowns, or there are different types of environmental crisis, force majeure, or state of emergency. There are different things that makes the market, that makes everything different now. It's not just, oh yeah, I just want to do this. There are a lot of other implications that needs to be taken into consideration when you want to start up our own business. And at the same time, we also have the internet that gives us a marketplace that is global instead of not just being local. We have the entire world, access to the entire world, where we can sell our products, or we can push our project into the awareness of different people, whether we use social media or we find other avenues to get out there, whatever that means. There are so many platforms on the internet. I am hardly aware of half of them. I would say 1%, even so, I might not even be on top of that game either, because so much is coming up all the time. So the question is, which platform should we use to get out there? Who are the ones that we want to address? Why do we want to address these people? And what's the goal of what we want to address? And what's the idea we want to present for them? And why is our idea better than the other ideas that are out there? Where do we stand out? Where do we say, this is different? This is why you should engage on what I am putting forth here. And we can't really it's always, there are these, when we talk marketing, there are these ideas. Oh yes, you can definitely put in some kind of idea of who you want to reach and how you want to reach them and to what means and with what end, or to what end and with what means. Sorry about that. And you put some kind of analytics out, and you have this idea that if I do this, if I do that, then I will reach that group. If I put in an ad, if all of these kind of things that are out there. And to be honest, I believe in that it's not just about coming out there, putting yourself out there. Of course, you need to be visible. You need to be foundable so that people can find you somehow. But I've always trusted on the laws of energetic and genetic affinity. Even though in this weird world that we're dealing with, once you and I go up in energy and work within the original ideas of reality, whether people are aware of it or not, whether they know why they're drawn to this forum or why they're drawn to that YouTube channel or whatever drives them there, if just a Google search. But of all of the pages, why do people click on a certain things unless there is some kind of hint, some kind of gut feeling, some kind of pull that tells people this is what you need to click, not just because it has some fancy words or a beautiful picture or whatever. They can make all of these neuro marketing sciences where they think, oh, this is how the eyes will look, and perhaps with the clones, the mugglers, right? But for those of us who have other levels inside of us that have an awareness that goes a little bit beyond what is just tangible and seen and felt and what is out there, we are drawn to things that we kind of call this energetic pull, or we resonate with it, or however we want to put it. So whatever you're coming up with, I think it's important to envision that there are people out there that will reach you and that will be drawn to your material, because there's always someone somewhere that has the same ideas, that has some kind of, this is what I want to do, but I don't really know how to do it. So if someone can come up with an idea of how to do it, then people will be drawn to these places where they will find solutions, as in asking the questions and then trying to find the solutions. So for us as change makers, I think it's important that we try to find solutions to many of the issues that are surfacing out there, that are part of our reality, whether we see it as part of the Truman Show, as part of the enclosure, as part of the hijacking, or as part of the enslavement, or as part of the cycles and the issues with the cycles, or whatever frame of reference we use, or whatever kind of approach we have to why something is off. It doesn't really matter, does it? Because at the end of the day, no matter what narrative that we have regarding why things are off or why things are not working well, or whether it will be in the deep end of the conspiracy and the rabbit holes, or if it's in the spiritual teaching systems, or it's just within standard business model or business societal structures, well, then it all comes down to, in the end, what are you going to do about it? How are you going to make things better? How are you going to add to this reality so you at least can say, no matter what, you have done what you could. You have not just turned the blind eye, pretended it was not there, gone into denial and do the three monkeys. You have looked at things. You've said, no, I want to make a change. I want to make a real legit change in this world. At least I will try. At least I will come up with some ideas. At least I will give what I can to make this world a better place, not just in your household or in your family or for your pets or for your neighbors or for your community, all depending on how far you want to push it, or just for yourself as a person. But actually go in and say, no, I want to put a little bit more effort into trying to make the world a better place, not just locally as in your own household, because of course it begins with you taking care of yourself. It begins with you taking care of your body. It begins with you eating correctly, nutritious plant-based food. It begins with you have no food waste. It begins with you in your everyday household. So you make sure that your home and the way you are administering your home, what you are buying and how you use the resources of your surroundings, including clothes and what have you, that you are living in that minimalistic way where you can say every single step of the way you are exemplifying that type of living where we are taking care of ourselves, our surroundings, and the world to the best of our abilities. We pay our bills, we pay our tax, we are good citizens, we do what's supposed to be done and what is expected of us. We are impeccable as far as it's possible. There will always be human errors. We can always learn more. Psychologically, we can always grow. Energetically, we can always grow. Progression-wise, we can definitely always grow. So there are always the processes of becoming better, including with our projects, or if we decide to have our own small business. There we expand that idea of always making things better, always progressing, always developing, always searching for the highest purity rate, the highest standards, and the highest progression rate in everything we do. So it is the whole Project Blue Flower, where we go in and say, no matter what level of our lives, no matter what level we are operating on, we are always striving for the highest possibility, the highest outcome, the most optimal outcome, the highest level of transformative energy, that's the purity rate, within the highest standards that are the rules of engagement and the principles for the highest progression rate. And that is for the highest good of the many. And that is our reality field and others and ourselves, all included. So it's a completely new way of thinking. It's not even, oh, I decide I want to do this. It becomes so natural as doing exercise every day, or making the right type of food, or buying the right type of groceries that are all organic. So they are not GMO. So they are in all ways and forms following the idea of what we could say, taking care of our environment. We are trying to keep our carbon footprint as low as possible. Not that we are to make life impossible for us to live, but we are always choosing what we could say is the highest good, that is the better for the betterment of all, that goes with the ideas of this is the right approach to do things today, and that will change. Tomorrow it might be different, but we will still follow the rules of that game, whether or not we say, well, it's just a Truman Show, everything is engineered, it's probably just a rabbit hole or a program. But we will look into and say, well, no matter what it is, however it presents itself, we will always choose the best solution that we know in our hearts and in our minds that this is the highest level approach that we can achieve right now. Tomorrow will be different, but we do what we can today. Every single day, every single minute. So that's also being a change maker, where we are constantly striving for the highest performance rate, for the best outcome for all, for the best solutions, for the best approach to whatever comes our way, whether it is psychologically or is energetically, or it is in terms of base program challenging or issues. As I've experienced a lot lately, there is a lot of interference with the AI that's not working correctly. It could be due to cosmic vibration. It could be due to the green comet that's in the sky right now. That actually is an old Orion craft, or an Aldebaran craft actually. But they were part of the Aldebaran Orion Wars. So there are these things that are coming and going, and how do we adapt to that? How do we change that? For instance, today I can't invite people into my Vimeo group. So, well, what can I do then other than just wait for that glitch to be over? And could also be just because whoever is taking over Vimeo now doesn't want me to do this until it's been on a council level or what have you. So there will be these blockages in our work where normally years ago things would just work impeccably. There would be no issues. There would be no glitches, but that will also become more normal. So when we do business and when we are running our own business, patience will definitely become a huge part. And we will learn not to get angry and not to get frustrated, but do what we can and then wait out and see, well, tomorrow it might be better. And if it's not better tomorrow, well, then we will send whoever, as I just sent to Vimeo, send them a text message and say, hey, things are not working as they're supposed to. Or with the private PayPal account I was trying to get up and running last week. I haven't checked it this week, but I had to make several phone calls and I'm not even sure it works yet. So there are these glitches, there are these obstacles, whether it is interference from the frequency fence, or it's AI breakdown, or it's human error, or businesses are being hacked, or whatever's going on. there will be these disturbances. So we must plan after these disturbances as well. So we're always in due time. We're always doing things, not the last minute, but in good time, because things can change overnight. Things can break down, and then we can't do what we're supposed to do. Of course, we'll then have an explanation. But still, if we have consumers or customers that are depending on that we provide something for them, then we must be on top of the game and put in that service and say, well, right now there's a breakdown, but I will, of course, as soon as it's back up and running, do what I can so you can get your product or you can get your service or whatever it is. So that's also part of the new reality that we are to get acquainted with, where things are not always working perfectly, but at least we are always addressing things in a kind and patient way, so that at the end of the day we don't get frustrated, because what good would come out of being frustrated? Anyways, a lot of thoughts there and a lot of ideas there, but I do hope that you have enjoyed this course material, and there's always more to be said. There's always more to be investigated, but I think you have now got some kind of foundational ideas from where you can continue your own developmental processes with whatever project you have come up with. And I definitely suggest that you go back over the course material again, perhaps not now, but wait a little bit and then go back over it again. And there you will discover that there was a lot you didn't hear the first time around. Also read the different articles I've got under the Changemaker material, the free material that is out there. From time to time, just kind of, if you've got nothing else to do, well, do the material one more time. And for those of you who haven't done the progression sciences yet, there is more to be learned there as well. And we are heading towards the 2025 timeline, as well as going into the activation and cleanup of the racial, the energies behind the racial lineages. So that's also in the making. So there's a lot of stuff always that's going on. And unless we're kind of on top of that game too, in our clearing work, in our energy work, in our meditation practice, and in our, whether we do horizontal or a vertical contemplation and meditation and clearing work, or we exercise or whatever we do, it's part of our everyday living to take into consideration this is an energetic reality. And there's a lot of influences and there's a lot of glitches. And whatever we do, we must be on top of whatever's coming our way. We can't just go as doing business as usual and expect every day to be the same, or today will be a good day, or what have you. We never know when things shift. We must almost always be on our toes energetically with our double awareness switched on, so we kind of know something is on and they're going on, and what do I need to do with it? How do I need to address this? How do I need to clear this? How do I need to transform this? And how do I get back on the timeline I have chosen to be part of? As well as what cycle do you want to aim for? Because at the end of the day, if you want to remain in the fourth cycle, there's a lot of stuff you can do if you're allowed to do it. Because technically, if you do belong to the fifth cycle, you will be pulled there. And then you will discover that in your attempt to remain in the base program as you know of it, you will meet closed doors. So for those of us who are part of the fifth cycle and have the genetics for it, we are going double pioneer, not only trying to seed something new into this reality, but we are also far, far into the future with how we understand things and how we are to work with things, and trying to bridge that future aspect of reality into the now, and whatever that means, and however we're going to apply that to our projects and our businesses. So there's a lot at stake here, and there's a lot of challenges, and there's a lot of new to be learned. But as everything in life, it's an experience, it's a process, and if we want, we can learn it. It's just a matter of training, it's a matter of being observant, and it's a matter of working with energy and learning from energy itself, and learning from the complex information systems, because the answer is out there. It's built into everything. It's just us that have forgotten how to read reality, read circumstances, read events, and read energies. And the moment we get that back with our double awareness, a lot of things will kind of unfold and unravel on its own. And with that, we will then learn the big mantra. trust the process. Because whatever's going on, trust the process. It will come, it will show itself, it will unravel. You will get what you need to know. It will be in front of you when you're ready. As I said, when the student is ready, the master shows up. Things will come your way if you're ready for it. So part of the energy work, part of the clearing work, and part of the work we are to do every day as change makers is to make ourselves ready for the changes, for the new to come, and for the challenges ahead of us. And we can do this. If we want to, we can do this. Thank you.